Hello again, YouTube. Okay, it's overcast in San Francisco today, so this is mostly the other light. Unfortunately, I can't take my glasses off to get rid of these rings because I have to be able to read. So, this is Greenleaf, Season 2, Episode 5. Okay, it opens up with Grace sneaking in again. Remember when Lady Mae caught her after said she had been, looked like she had been rolled hard and dropped wet? It looks like she'd been rolled again. Although Grace said she wasn't ridden, she says she was discussing with this new reporter guy ways to put away Uncle Matt permanently. She's obsessed with his Uncle Matt still. Okay, so Sophia catches her coming in. Sophia is waking up and Grace is coming in. Now, why you would have to be up until the wee hours, into the morning hours, discussing anything? I don't know, but not that she would necessarily tell her daughter she's been unscrewing. Anyway, so we didn't see the little boyfriend this time. That's who she was with. His role was not clear what she wants from him. Is she going to do an expose or something like that? But she's telling him everything, so. Matt didn't show up in this episode either. We didn't see him. Okay, so Calvary has filed an injunction to stop construction at Triumph. This was their plan that they intimated last week. They said they were going to do this. For, I think, 28 days, they can file this injunction. And, of course, Bassy is furious. Say it again, Bassy does not seem like a preacher to me, but I know that people, these pulpit pimps, have survived throughout American history. You guys keep giving him your money. He just seems like a con man to me. But although he does quote scriptures and use that for all of his ego plotting, he gets in a huff, and he has what's the boy's name? He has Jacob come with him, follow him. They're going to pay a visit to Pastor Greenleaf at Calvary. So they march into Calvary. They want to meet with Greenleaf. They burst into his office. Of course, the bishop is very upset that his son is coming with the snake into his office. He leaves them in their office, goes to legal counsel, which is that other guy from their old friend's son who was there to help them bring down or stop construction on Triumph 2. He tells them to stall, keep them there, let them burn out, keep them waiting. So he comes there and he says basically the devil doesn't want to be ignored. This is what you want to hurt him, ignore him. And so Bishop leaves him there for hours and hours. When he finally comes in, I'll get back to that because he does come back to have another confrontation with them, in which Jacob gets his moment in the sun, where he. We'll get back to that. Okay, Kevin and Charity they seem to be getting along just fine, except for they are definitely divorcing. This is the first time the word divorce came up. Last week she said it's not going to work. It's over. So if anybody is not clear as to what that means, what it means is they're divorcing. All right, so I'm trying to remember. I watched it last night. They are divorcing. Yeah. So she's kind of flirting with this new music director guy, music producer, and he has come to her with a job offer. He said, "You write so beautifully. You should be doing this full time." He goes on to tell her that some of the songwriters make $1 million a year. That's always been a mystery to me because and all my books that I wrote, most of them, 4 out of 5, are about music industry, gospel music industry specifically. But, you know, a song has got like 3 or 4 lines of words in it. A lot of it was just repeating the same thing over and over again. And that's worth $1 million a year. Anyway, it could be that he wants her to get a little closer to her, work with her more as well. Although he still seems like he might have a little sweetness. She's going to be devastated. If she is attracted to another gay man, she is going to be devastated. You hear me? But, so he makes her this job offer. She says, well, I have to be here at Calvary. Well, you have to come to Memphis a couple of times. Not Memphis, Nashville. A couple of times a month. That's all that would be required. And so they finished their project. He goes to hug her, you know, just goodbye, nice knowing you kind of thing. It's a little intimate kind of moment. Then he kisses her on the cheek, and then he hugs her tighter again, and in walks Lady Mae. So Lady Mae thinks something's going on. You know, she's been very cold to this man. And that's when Charity tells her mother for the first time that her and her husband are breaking up. Kevin and her are getting a divorce. Lady Mae tells her not to jump into this, at least allow her and the bishop to counsel them. So she wants to have a meeting between Kevin, Charity, the bishop, and Lady Mae before she makes this decision to change her life. Okay. Oh, they had this little side story going. This woman that they have. She's one of the reasons that I don't like religion. This woman is this girl, she's getting married, right? So they're in counseling with Grace. And this little religious thing, you know, one of them ones that wear the long dresses, and the word says it, and everything she says is a quote from the Bible and all this kind of stuff. She is getting cold feet with this marriage, right? Grace is counseling them. She was saying, she makes some kind of comment about Grace's liberal, Grace going off, leaving the ministry. Wait a minute, okay. Her first argument, she makes a couple of appearances. Her first argument is that she doesn't want the baby to attend certain schools, and then she don't have no baby. She's not even pregnant, but she wants to be cautious about where they move because she don't want the baby to go to a secular school. Yeah, got to go to get a Christian education. She just irritates the shit out of me. This character. She's all pulled up, you know, religious. One of the robots. Anyway, so later on we find out that her second issue is she is backing out of the marriage. The man is one of those little docile men, you know, he goes along with whatever she says. Because why would you want to marry somebody like that and be stuck in the house with him for years? But second issue is she called the marriage off because she thought the bishop was going to be married to him. She said, if I only knew that you were going to do the marriage, I would never sign on for it. Because we thought the bishop, he did such beautiful work, such beautiful words. And you left the ministry. How could you leave the ministry? Oh, I don't know if I could trust a person to marry me who's left the ministry, went off into the world where they want to have gay rights and all this horrible thing. Like, it's just the horriblest thing. Oh, bitch. I mean, how can you say those 4 lines for the wedding? I don't know what that's about, but that is the very reason one of the reasons I hate. I hate religion. Hate it. There are parts that I love it. Most involving the Christ. The rest of it, A whole lot of it is encapsulated in this woman. All right. So the wedding's off because Grace is going to perform the ceremony. I don't know if that means she takes the ceremony somewhere else, or is this man just escaped a bullet? He ought to be thanking Grace, kissing her feet, because he has escaped a life of misery. All right, Clarissa's having a problem with this house. This house, the lights, the electricity doesn't work, the plumbing doesn't work. She has to deal with Bassy Skank's wife. Bassy Skank's wife, so she's complaining about the house. It's in terrible condition. Bassy Skank's wife comes over to the house with her tool belt on. She's going to fix the plumbing herself. You want to be a landlord? Okay, somebody's got to do it. Clarissa reads this woman and go off on her. She doesn't seem to care. This is her boss's, her husband's boss wife. She doesn't seem to care about that. She thinks the house is a disgrace. She wants work done. And she finally breaks this woman down. I forget her name, but Bassy Skank's wife. And she says, I just don't know where we'll get the money. So Skanks is supposed to be building all these empires and all this kind of stuff, but he don't have enough money to fix the plumbing, electricity in the house. He's going to give it to Jacob. So, of course, now Clarissa said, What happened? What's wrong? Because, their whole life is dependent on the Skanks. Now they found out that Bassy Skanks is broke. He is the con man that he looks like. And the girl, of course, they go into consultation, and she's telling her all the family business about the situation with Skanks and these side deals he's pulling and things like that. They didn't go into detail about exactly what he's doing, but he don't have any money, and he's pulling scams, working twists to get this church built. So he can't afford no delays, that's for sure. And the bishop is delayed at 28 days. So, anyway, they live in a big high-rise and thing, but apparently bills are not getting paid. They're all in on this new church. And we didn't get a lot of detail with that. We didn't get a lot of detail with a lot of these this week. I just noticed that. Okay, Jacob gives a big speech. All right, so they had this meeting with all of them there, the deacon board and bishop, Lady May, and they all come in to meet with this Bassy Skanks and Jacob. And Jacob gets his moment, so he goes on to his whole speech and in front of everybody, tells how the bishop, this man lost his father. And you don't even care. You don't have the decency and all this. He goes off on the bishop. Bishop has no lines here. He just sits there and takes it. Skanks tells him how proud he is. He let his father know and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, the battle continues between those two, between Skanks and Bishop. But at least everyone knows what the issue is now. This thing with this man dying is no longer a secret. The whole church knows about it. Everybody knows about it. With the arrest, and then car charges being dropped and the whole thing. So I don't know what else Bassy Skanks can hold over this man. But they have stopped construction. They're trying to work out some kind of little deal where we can stop for only 7 days instead of 28 days. And I'm not clear about the details. I don't know how relevant it is at this point. So that's pretty much where it ends. Okay, not a lot of drama in this episode. But anyway, so that was Greenleaf for this week. And I'll see you next. Later.